Hello everyone, this is Gary with your cards of the day on this Sunday morning, and today, numerologically speaking, we have a day 16-7, which in the major arcana is the Tower and the Chariot. And the Tower and the Chariot are always an interesting pair because the Tower really speaks of things changing really that have to change. It's almost like things reach a breaking point or a crisis point perhaps, where they've been built up and built up and built up to be a certain way, be a certain thing, and the Tower comes along and that all has to change, and it all has to be adjusted. And so we could be experiencing the realization of changes that are ahead of us today, and really perhaps on some level feeling a little bit the fallout from that, because sometimes change can be a very scary thing. So it's something, this is where the Chariot comes in, because it's one of those things where you have to remain focused, you have to remain single-minded, keep your willpower strong, and in a sense go for what you want. And that is where the sort of the Chariot influence kind of adjusts the scariness in a way of the changes that the Tower can indicate. Now, interestingly, looking at the runes for today, we have Tyre and we have Wynn. Now, Tyre is a rune associated with the god of the same name, and is a rune of victory. It's a rune of initiation. It's a rune of, in a sense, having to put yourself on the line for what you believe in, for what you want, and for what you know will be right. And Wynn is a very joyous rune. I mean, it actually translates as joy, but that's also seen as a rune of success and things really happening as they're supposed to happen, and balance being maintained. So we have again this kind of this indication of really pushing things forward, being brave. Tyre is an extremely brave god, and in his legends. So, you know, be brave, be strong, push forward, and you will have the victory and the joy that is owed to you, really. Now, moving to the cards, I have 4 decks here. I've done a very kind of Norse, kind of Celtic feel here. We have the Druid Animal Oracle, which is one of the Cargom and Will Worthington decks. We have 2 decks by Sylvia Gainsford, the Rune Vision cards, and also Tarot of the Northern Shadows. And I've also brought in my trusty Norse Tarot by Clive Barrett, which I haven't used in a little while. So our first card for today is Goose, and this shows a pair of grey lag geese, which are particularly noticeable actually in York, which is a very old Norse city, so here in the UK. So it's kind of interesting that this comes up in a Norse reading. And the indication here very much is one of responsibility, of family perhaps, of partnerships, and really being in things for the long haul, taking on that responsibility and that duty in a way. So here we do have an indication perhaps of greater levels of responsibility. As I say, that word does keep coming up in my head, and greater levels of things that we really have to work at. So we have these more important things to do coming in, and things that we are going to have to commit to, and that are going to take time. They're not sort of quick fixes. It's very much stuff that once you commit to it, you're on that path. Now, our second card, I'm going to go this way, is Thurisaz, or Thorn, as I tend to think of it in the Anglo-Saxon. Now, interestingly, this is a rune, which is here, that I usually associate with Thor, because of the symbol itself reminding me of Thor's hammer, and I know that is one of the traditional interpretations of it. And in this deck, though, they've associated this with the god Loki. Now, Loki is the trickster. He is, from the legends, he spends a lot of his time planning and plotting, waiting, pushing things along from the background almost, very, very gently, very, very subtly, maneuvering, almost like playing chess, maneuvering the pieces into their correct places before striking. And he does have to wait a very, very long time before his opportunity for vengeance comes. So the suggestion here is very much initially one of, don't push things, let them come in their own time, let them develop as they're supposed to develop, and really just be patient, be flexible, be adaptable as well, and things will come to you when their time is ready. But going back to the Thor association as well with the hammer, very much I'm getting a sense of, if you're going to pick up Thor's hammer, you're going to have to do something with it. So again, this is this responsibility element coming in, that, you know, when you can't just sort of pick up the hammer and then, oh, I've got it now, and do nothing with it. You have to actually have a purpose in doing that. So there is very much an indication here of knowing very clearly what your purpose is. Now, moving forwards, we have the Eight of Swords, and this is a rather unusual depiction of it, because what we see here is an unarmed figure stood in the center of 8 armed soldiers, but we're seeing this from above. So very much the indication I get with this card, this is a card that is usually associated with worry, with being afraid. And indeed, change can be very, very scary, as I was saying before. But the indication I'm getting from this one is try to look at things from a different perspective. In a sense, a top-down view, which is what we've got here. Look at it from a different perspective and try to get a different sense on the things that are causing fear. And you may just find that the fears that you have, when seen in a different light, are not fears at all. They're not frightening things at all. It just required that change of viewpoint. And our final card for today is the Knight of Discs. And isn't this interesting? Because again here, Pentacles, Discs, is a suit of slow movement, of consolidation, of groundedness, of being methodical. And so here the suggestion is very much one of take your time, be methodical, be like this knight who looks at every possibility and eventuality and makes sure of his footing and makes sure of what he's doing before he acts. So this, in a sense, marries up quite nicely with Thurisaz, because we have this indication of patient and slow maneuvering today. So it's not kind of rushing around, it's taking things in their proper time. So our reading for Sunday, getting ready to move into a new week, looks like this. We have the grey-lag goose, indicating responsibilities coming, things of a longer term that we're taking on, and the importance of that it's something that can't be done lightly. We have Loki in this instance being patient, biding his time, planning, manipulating, positioning. And then we have the indication of Thor's hammer, which is, these are things of importance. These are things that what you have to have a clear aim in order to pick the hammer up. Then we have the Eight of Swords, which, as I say, is normally a card of fear. But the indication here is look at your fears from a different perspective. Try to step back, step above, look down on them, see them in a different light, and really analyze what it is that you're afraid of. And you may find they disappear altogether. And finally, we have the Knight of Discs, indicating slow, methodical movement, being careful, being cautious, and really making sure that you're on a solid footing as much as you can, so that you can slowly begin to move things forwards today. So I hope you've enjoyed these cards of the day and this Norse look at the energies around us. As always, please feel free to leave me some comments and let me know how these themes interact with your day today. Also, please feel free to check out my website, www.theseerscave.webs.com, for more information about myself, my tools, and the readings that I offer. I would like to wish everyone a really happy, blessed, successful, grounded, and strong day today, getting yourselves ready for the week ahead. And as always, wish love, light, blessings, and frith to you all.